You are listening to the Intelligent Vocalist Podcast, episode 118.
Welcome to the Intelligent Vocalist with John Henny. This is the podcast dedicated to help you be a smarter, better, more informed singer. And now, your host for the Intelligent Vocalist, John Henny.
Hey there, this is John Henny. Welcome back to another edition of The Intelligent Vocalist. I do so appreciate you spending your precious listening time with me. All right, on today's menu, we have just about everyone's favorite topic, which is singing higher. Voice teacher friend and I will joke, it's just higher, louder. People want to sing higher and people want to sing louder. That's kind of the basis of our industry. But singing high is obviously a common goal because most people, when they first start singing high is very difficult. They don't know how to access it. So I want to go over some common mistakes that people make when they try and sing higher and help you avoid these. And these mistakes may change depending on where you are in your singing journey. But the most common one, the first one is trying to sing high notes too powerfully too soon. When you are first discovering high notes, you want to go in without a lot of intensity, without a lot of muscle, because that becomes factors that you need to balance, and you're not quite ready for that yet. And that's frustrating to people because they want to sing higher and they want to sing louder, and you can't have both in the beginning. So if you want to get louder, which should not really be your primary goal right off the bat, I would suggest beginning to find your range, find your lower register, your chest voice. What generally happens is then people start to find their upper notes. Then they start to find that transition and smoothing that out. For a little while, there'll probably be a bit of a flip, which is fine when you're first starting. But when you're first finding these upper notes, you want to do it a bit more gently. That's going to help you get in there so that your nervous system can experience this upper register and start finding coordinations before you start kicking in the booster rockets. The other mistake is not going to high notes on friendly vowels. What do I mean by a friendly vowel? Well, it's going to be a lot easier to find and access your upper register on an oo than it is on an ah. And I've said this before, but we instinctively know this. That's why we whoop and holler on woohoo. We don't do it on ah because you can't go as high, not as easily. That's why yodelers go yodel-a, ee-oo, yodel-a, because e's and oo's will get into your head register easier. Another mistake is trying to get in there, and this is an extension of the first one, going too loud, but on finished sounds. And by a finished sound, I just mean like a nice, natural sounding voice. You're going to need to go in with some exaggerations, whether it's a very hooty, heady, hoo kind of voice, or if you're using the semi-occluded vocal tract exercises. And what that means, partially blocked, semi-occluded vocal tract. The vocal tract is your throat and your mouth. Those are your resonators. That's the track that your sound waves are taking. So we want to partially block them. Great exercises are lip bubbles, tongue trills, voiced consonants such as z, the NG of sung, and even better, straw exercises. Straw exercises are fantastic for finding your upper register. You're using these unfinished sounds, so you're not trying to go in and balance a full, rich sound. Unfinished sounds combined with that semi-occlusion, what that does is that provides back pressure. You've got a partial blockage of the vocal tract, and that back pressure reflects back down to the chords and helps them stay together and hold back the air, and it gives them a little assistance in finding the coordinations. It's like these wonderful little singing training wheels. And I have a straw exercise course that is free. You can go get it. It'll give you straw warm-ups, some of my favorite exercises, why the straw works so well, how to do it. Just go to johnhenny.com. It'll be in my show notes for this episode, so it's johnhenny.com/118, or just click on courses in the menu. It's there. It costs nothing. So no obligation to buy anything. But if you do, it'll ask if you want to be on my email list. You should get on that because I do send out letting you know when new podcasts are up, and I also have special offers that only go out to my email list. All right, commercial over. So those semi-occluded vocal tract exercises or unfinished sounds, you can use unfinished sounds like exaggerated dopey, or little edgy, and the edgy is when you want to start working towards a little more intensity, but you're not ready for a full finished sound quite yet. Now, another mistake I see people making is when they're no longer trying to shout towards those high notes and push their voice. And they're trying to go to the headier sounds or maybe a little edgy sound. They're still pushing air as if they are going into that shout condition. So very often people are using way too much air. So they're maybe doing something on a gee, but it's way too much air. And so they're just overloading the vocal folds or vocal cords and just blowing them apart. So you want to watch out for that. Another mistake I see, and now this is a little further down the track, but once you start getting your voice together and you start accessing that and you start trying to sing into it, it's keeping the vowel too closed. Now, by closed, I mean we have the family of lip vowels. Ow, so the oo where the lips is really rounded, that's on the closed end. And then you have the tongue movement vowels, A and E is on the closed end, the tongue is most forward. Those are fantastic for getting up into your upper notes lightly, as I previously stated. But when you begin to sing into your voice, they are going to be too closed down and they are likely going to cause you to squeeze. And this is very common for singers who've had some amount of voice training and they've stopped what voice teachers will call pulling chest or having that violation of dragging the lower register up too high acoustically, that shout condition. So going into the narrow vowel breaks that acoustic alignment. It stops the resonators from aligning with the sound wave in such a way that we end up shouting and your larynx or your throat area starts coming up to follow the pitch and all that squeezing and everything starts and the chords are slamming together. Horrible condition. So absolutely, narrow, closed down vowels are such a gift to be able to break that habit, that hardwired coordination. You know, we're all born good at shouting, survival mechanism. But if you stay with that and start trying to sing bigger again, there's not enough energy, acoustic energy in the sound wave. What you're doing with that narrow vowel is you're pulling all the high frequencies or all the high energy out of it. You can hear when I do it on a vocal fry, sounds like I get really low, and I'm not changing pitch at all. I am pulling the high frequencies out of the sound. That's why oohs and e's don't belt so well. They actually have to open up. So the problem becomes the vowel is too closed. And this scares singers, especially those who have been pulling chest for a while and shouting. So they find comfort in the narrow vowel. But when they start to lay into it, they find, wow, I can't get any energy on this. And they end up just squeezing because all those high frequency parts of the sound wave, all that energy has been pulled down and away. And we need to bring that back in for a belt. However, if you go too open and too wide, which is back to the number one mistake, that too wide of a vowel will very likely kick in that shout mechanism again. Now, you can go up on quite a wide vowel, there's a tongue twister, quite a wide vowel, as long as you can override that urge for the vocal fold muscles to kick in and start squeezing. And that takes some time. But there are singers, Whitney Houston was fantastic with that. She could get vowels very, what some voice teachers call mixed, where it's kind of, you hear more of that head blend resonance. It's a more balanced vowel, it sits more in the center. It's where I recommend most singers sing most of the time, especially when singing stronger notes. But Whitney could open those up and actually go into a condition that starts to become shouty, but she could override and not squeeze at the vocal folds. And that's a delicate thing to do. Idina Menzel can do it when she's really on and those vowels open up. She can override that squeeze. When you do that, when you go, not only is it going to tend to want to squeeze again, but you also go into an area of acoustic instability. Just depending on how that sound wave aligns, you can easily kick in the acoustic alignment of shout, and then it'll start to crack and want to go back and forth. The other thing is just just your physical instrument. Some people are better able to do it than others because you do have to start getting the mouth rather wide. Some dropping that jaw. Some people just have wider mouths. Quite frankly, can drop their jaw more. They have a better instrument for going into that really, really wide shouting. The other mistake I see people do is working it on songs where the tessitura, where the song tends to sit, is just too high. It's like, oh, I've worked on my high notes, I've done some oohs and e's, now I'm going to go sing 5 Journey songs in a row. You're not quite ready for that. You're going to start fatiguing. Bad habits are going to come in. You want to work material where you do get up there and then you get back down where you're comfortable. It's kind of a back and forth, so you're not up there all the time until you really start to get a handle on this. And then the other huge mistake I see people make when they start really trying to sing into their upper register, they'll develop their upper register, they'll develop their lower register, but they will ignore the middle. And the middle voice, this mixed voice, which begins on around D or E flat above middle C for men, and it's around the A flat above middle C for women. As you go into that area, and you'll feel your lower register, your chest voice start to go into this slightly acoustically different place, and most singers feel as if the voice is lifting. If you don't master that, you're going to crack back and forth between the two. You're going to tend to, as you come into chest, over grab and slam the chords there. And I don't care how high you can sing. You can sing off the keyboard. If you don't get this middle voice together, man, it's really not that much use. I will have people and they'll say, oh, I really want to develop my my whistle voice. And it's no. We have to get this bridge together. Most of your singing will be done in this transition area, especially on pop and musical theater, contemporary choruses. It's a really exciting part of the voice. Going into the very, very high notes, sure, there are pieces that go there. It's very thrilling for the audience, but that's not your work-a-day notes. That transition, that's where you're going to spend the bulk of your time training as a singer and really getting that nailed in and dialed in. So don't work the high notes and neglect the transition. Work all the areas of your voice at the same time. And you'll feel some voices, a section of the voice will come in, and then all the parts of that section will kind of come up at about the same time. Other voices, it's almost like one half step at a time comes in. So there's some where it's almost like a bed of flowers blooming, and in another voice, it's one flower, then the next flower, then the next flower. So you also have to just stay on your voice's timeline and the way your voice is going to work. You don't rush any of this. Listen, I'm hyper aware of the passing of almost every moment and the ticking of the clock and how precious it is. But you can't rush this. You really have to have patience and allow your voice to come together. But you got to do the work. You got to be doing the work every day. And I'll leave that as the final mistake, is people who just wish for high notes and don't put in the work to get them. They are available for you. You can sing pretty darn high, no matter what kind of voice you have. You can extend your range. Now, we all hit a wall, basically. But my guess is you're not at your wall. There is so much more to bring out of your voice. And so get on a regular practice schedule. Make it a habit and work your voice, and work your voice in a good, healthy manner. And there endeth the sermon. Hey, if you want to know more about me, go to my website, johnhenny.com. Again, just click on the courses. And you can get my straw course for free. If you're interested in belting, I have I've got a short course. It's only $17. The Secrets of Belting. I will share with you. It's kind of a bit of a secret, but I am currently working on a much bigger course on belting. So that's going to be pretty exciting. And I'm actually creating original songs to work the voice in very specific ways. So looking forward to getting that out to the world. So get on my email list as well if you want to find out about those things. If you are interested in studying with me, you can reach out. There are the contact buttons to click there. And until next time, to better singing. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.